It's your podcast sister, Lisa, coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio. If you like to discover new music, then you've come to the right place. This is where you'll meet singers, songwriters, and musicians who are living the dream. On today's podcast, I'm so happy to welcome Rick Zachary, a country singer, songwriter, and musician. He's here to talk about his latest hit single, and it's his debut single, Small Town Saturday Night. Hi, Rick. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody.
I listened to your song. I love it, Rick.
Thank you.
And I thought, there was this line that you wrote for this song, and I thought this would be an ideal way to start the interview. And the line you wrote, and we're going to hear a snippet of this song shortly, you wrote, "We grow up and move on, but we always know where we came from." So I thought we could talk about you growing up. Want to hear where you came from? You grew up in a small town. Whereabouts?
So I grew up in Western New York in a little town called Ransomville, right at the corner of Lake Ontario and the Lower Niagara River, right just north of Niagara Falls.
Okay. I've been to like Salamanca.
Salamanca?
Salamanca to the casino.
Yeah,
How far are you from the casino?
From Salamanca, 2 hours.
Okay. So that's about as far as I've gone. What was it like growing up in a small town? I'm a city slicker. I've talked about that, on many episodes. It's just so hard for me to get down to the simple life that you probably led. Tell us a little bit about how you grew up in that small town.
Yeah, I mean, Ransomville is just a one stoplight town. We had a dirt racetrack, a couple bars, a couple churches, and farms, and that's really about it. It's a small community. Everybody knows everybody, and which is weird about Nashville. Nashville's a big city, but it feels like a small town in a lot of aspects. But yeah, I mean, just kind of growing up hunting and fishing and having bonfires with your friends and riding dirt bikes and snowmobiles and just doing all the things that you do, in country life, really. But I liked it. It was nice to have that community, of everybody knowing everybody. It's got its, pros and cons, but it's nice knowing that everywhere you go in town, you basically have a friend,
Wow. What a nice way to grow up.
Yeah.
When you were younger, what point in time did you wake up and say, I have to become a performer?
Well, I mean, I always loved singing and stuff as a kid. I remember running around in this brown suede like vest that it was light brown, like a tan color, and it had white wool on the inside, running around yelling, I'm a cowboy, and singing when I was a little kid. I'm sure my mom could delve into that story a lot more, but I remember wearing that vest all the time. But I don't know if that's tied into it, but I always liked singing. I always had a love for music and appreciation for music, but really it wasn't my intention in life to be a professional musician. I planned on being a police officer my whole life. That's what I had envisioned myself doing, as my father did, and I got to do that for several years until I broke my back, and that's when I got into music.
Yeah, I read about your experience in 2015. In a split second, your life changed. With the accident. What happened, and how did you overcome all this?
Yeah, I had moved from Missouri back home to Western New York to work for the sheriff's department there, where my dad retired from. I wanted to finish my career there. And before I could even get started, I was only back there for a few days. I went out to a friend's birthday party. I was on my way home, and I stopped at a red light, and this girl hit me about 40 miles an hour while I was stopped, drove right in the back of me, and it broke 3 vertebrae in my back, and it messed up my neck and my hips and some discs and stuff like that in my back. But yeah, and that was it. It was over right then and there for the most part, and took about 2 years to recover, 2.5 years to kind of fully recover. But during that time, that happened January 10th, 2015. So it was almost 10 years ago. It was just past 10 years ago. But I refused to take any painkillers or anything like that because I'd seen too many people lose their lives to it. So I really focused on learning how to play guitar, learning how to play music better and to sing better and to write songs and stuff like that. And then I've actually started doing open mics. I think later on in February that same year, I started doing open mics. And then eventually playing solo gigs, dual gigs, put a band together and started releasing music and traveling around and playing and stuff. And now I'm here.
That's an amazing story in so many ways. And thank you for sharing it. You hear something like this from, my outside perspective, and we are all so tested in our lives, whether we're young or old. And, it's how you overcome and how you deal with things. And you made something that could have, like you said, really ruined your whole entire life by, maybe going a different path. But you chose to go the path that has led you to where you are today. And I call that destiny. I really do. You chose the right path, Rick.
Yeah, I enjoy music a lot. I've had a lot of fun with it. This last 10 years have definitely had ups and downs, but a lot more ups. In 2019, I wrote a song, and I was sitting at a bar, and in like 10 minutes, I wrote this song and posted it to Facebook, and it started going viral. And then recorded it, made a video, and it opened a bunch of doors for me. And then 2020 happened, and everything stopped. So there's been some brushes with bigger success in the past, but before I finally got here today. But yeah, it's been a good journey.
Yeah, and you work very hard. When you are starting out, I read that, you played the fairs, the festivals, gigs. You worked even full time at one point as
Still
an
do.
independent artist, and did gigs on the weekend. And I mean, what dedication, what motivated you at that time?
I was really just having a lot of fun playing music, to be honest with you. I think everybody has delusions of grandeur, right? I always imagine every gig that I play, I'm at Madison Square Garden just playing to the huge crowd, whether it was 5 people in a bar playing a solo gig, or I was playing to a couple thousand people at a bigger event with a full band. I just love being on stage and performing, and I think that's part of what drives me to keep going. And I really enjoy hearing people's reactions to my music and hearing how they relate to it. I like trying to write music that people can relate to, that resonates with everybody in one way or another.
Yeah, a debut single, Small Town Saturday Night, definitely resonates with your fans. And um, my listeners will be getting a snippet in a few moments of that song. And, when I was listening to it, um, it doesn't matter. I'm in a whole different generation than you are. It doesn't matter what generation, when, you grew up, everyone has that type of story. And I'm so glad you wrote that song.
Thank you.
And congratulations on landing a record deal with Segno Records. And what is that like?
Yeah, that's been cool. It's been a really neat experience, opening up a lot of doors to work with and to meet some amazing people that I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet or work with without having a record deal. So that's been a great experience. Then having the resources to help push this further than I could as an independent artist.
What was it like for you at that moment when you found out that you were going to sign with a record label?
It was pretty exciting. I was happy, very anxious about what's to come in the future, but I'm pretty reserved when it comes to getting overly excited about things. I never like to get my hopes too high, and then it doesn't come to fruition. So I stayed pretty level headed about it.
Well, congratulations again. I think, Rick, this would be a great time to play a song snippet of your debut single, Small Town Saturday Night by Rick Zachary. And when we come back, we'll talk more music.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We fall in love, we break up, make up and start it all over. We grow up and move on, but we always know where we came from. We were kids running in back roads, living wild, seeing where the night goes, staying up till the sun on the weekend, never wanted to party to end. Country music blaring on the radio, Johnny Cash, Hank Jr. and George Jones, getting lost, having fun, feeling alright, living it up like a small town Saturday night. Living it up like a small town Saturday night. Yeah, yeah, like a small town Saturday night. Oh, like a small town Saturday night.
Rick, I love that song. Again, like I said earlier, it just is something that we can all relate to. And I can't wait to see what else you have on the horizon. Do you think you'll do a music video?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do a music video for it. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. I that's what I said. I love writing songs that people of so many different diversities and backgrounds and demographics they relate to it. Whether you grew up in the city or the suburbs or the country, it's there's something about the structure of that song and just talking about your adolescence that I think allows everybody to relate to.
Doesn't time fly? I mean, it just goes by so fast, and it seems like it drags on when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
And, one of the things too that I try to, instill in my, family that are maybe young teens. My children are grown now, but my grandchildren, are growing up fast, is that you're never the same person that you were as a teenager. And sometimes you get caught up in that, you know, um, this disbelief that this is who you are. You're really just growing. I mean, did you feel like that?
As a teen, I mean, I kind of always knew my direction in life, but yeah, I'm definitely not the same person I was as a teen. I'm glad about that. Um, but but that's all part of life, right? Is you start to you have these experiences throughout life that are all learning experiences and try to teach you how to go in whatever direction it is you want to go in, whether it's good or bad. We all make our own choices. But yeah, I definitely got that too.
Yeah, and guidance is so important. I know you're a dad of a little girl. How old is she?
She's 9. Yeah,
9.
an older
Okay, so
brother.
she's getting into that like what I say with my family, the lip gloss and the Hollister t-shirts and
Yeah,
you know, you're entering
she likes
that.
makeup. Yeah, she likes makeup, and we used to uh, we would do what I would call uh, daddy day spa or like do a spa night or whatever. We would go get masks and put silly masks on and because you can get like the face masks that have like different characters and stuff on them. We would get those and we would pretend to cut each other's hair with her hair cutting kit and do each other's toenails and fingernails and watch movies. And it was great. I loved it. I loved every second of it. And
Oh,
yeah.
that's precious. And enjoy that time with her. And it's funny, I watch on TikTok this one comedian that talks about generation differences, and she's probably about my age, and she talks about, how we would, drink from the hose and nobody
Yeah.
was ever drinking water, things like that. I can't imagine my father doing a spa day with me. I mean, I don't even think he knew where I was half the time. And I mean, I think with your generation, how you embrace it and build those special moments, especially with a daughter, is so important. And I'm so happy to hear that you're so involved.
I love
And
being a father. I'm so blessed to be her father, to have her as my daughter. But yeah, I loved all that stuff. I'd go out in costumes with her if she wanted to dress up like princesses for the day. I don't care. As long as it makes her have an awesome experience that day. I don't care if people look at me and think, why is that guy walking around in a tutu? Well, because my daughter that's holding my hand is too, if she thought it was cool. So I think it's cool.
I love it. And there's nothing like a father-daughter bond. And I'm so happy to hear this. And do you think she'll go down a musical path?
I don't know. She does like music and she has a really good musical sense. Like I'd never push her to be in any direction. I want her to do whatever it is that she wants to do. If she wants to get into go into the direction of music, I'm here to support her and try to guide her and help her in any way I can, but I'd never push her to do one thing or the other.
Well, you are terrific as a father, and I can see it in the way your face lights up talking about your little girl. And so, switching gears a little bit, what do you have in store for 2025? Are you working on an album now?
We've got a full album recorded.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
When do you think you'll start releasing either singles or the album?
Well, Small Town Saturday Night was the first single. The next one's going to come out March 14th. We're on kind of like a 6-week plan to release a single and a single and a single. And then eventually the full album will be out, I believe, before summer.
Terrific. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
On a side note, I was looking at your social media and I noticed you have different tattoos.
I do.
And yeah, tell me a little bit about the Troubadour
Sure.
tattoo.
Yeah, this one here.
Yep.
Let's see. Try to do that as straight as I can. Yeah, that's the newest
I love
one.
it.
Yeah, so I Troubadour in medieval times was a composer of song and poetry, and over the years has just kind of been adopted as songwriter, or the meaning has been morphed into just basically songwriter. And so although I get people asking me all the time if it has anything to do with George Strait or the club in LA, it has nothing to do with either. I wrote it or had it because I wanted it for accountability for songwriting. If you're going to put something on your body like that to make a statement, you better start writing some songs. And so that to me was kind of a motivating thing for me and an accountability thing for me to continue to push myself to write more songs.
What about the microphone? Was that your first tattoo?
No, the microphone. No, my first tattoo was on my ribs. That's actually my daughter. It's her name and her birth date in Roman numerals, which was incredibly painful.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Yeah, and then so let me stand up here. I can maybe show you. So then the guitar, that was the second tattoo. The microphone, I actually drew that. That was the third. Then I believe this arrow was the fourth.
Yeah, I saw that arrow on your Instagram, and very cool.
Yeah, I got that because I love to bow hunt. So it's like when I draw back, that's my arm.
Yeah.
Troubadour. And then I got well, I don't know if I can see this or not. Let's take my watch off here, but I just got this one in December around Christmas time.
Wow. Love it.
Yeah, it's my dad just passed in November, and so I got that in tribute to him. And like on the tree trunk, I don't know if you can see, but his initials are carved into the tree. And then the birds go up into music notes and say DAD. And then the last thing he ever said to me, I've got tattooed on there as well.
I love that. I love that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to hear about your dad. And
Yeah, it's been tough. He was my best friend. So
yeah. And, how is that where, he wasn't able to see you release this single? I mean, how do you cope with that? Um,
yeah, it's been
it's
tough.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure he's looking down on you and probably your guardian angel because you're doing some great things, Rick. And for our listeners, how can they follow you on social media and, catch up with what you're doing?
Yeah, they can just follow at Rick Zachary Music on all the socials, and our social media team is posting updates and content and stuff as things come up.
I looked also at your social media. This is what I do on the side.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm addicted to TikTok. I have no idea. But it was so touching to see, Rick. You visited a hospital, a children's hospital. And I mean, you're so busy, but yet you found time to go to the children's hospital. What were you doing, as far as spending time? Did you play music?
It did. Yeah. Yeah. And I asked my daughter the night before, I said, hey, I'm like, what songs should I play? Because there's gonna be younger kids there. I don't know what songs younger kids would want to hear. And she's like, play Wild Side, Daddy. She's like, that's my favorite. I'm like, well, it's one of my songs. They don't know that. So I was like, give me something that they might know. And she's like, play Bluey. I'm like, okay. So I learned the Bluey song real quick, and then that's her
Oh,
favorite show. It's funny. I watch it sometimes when I'm missing her. I'll throw Bluey on and just kind of chill there and watch it. But and then Scooby Doo, because that's also one of her very favorites and always has been. And then Happy Birthday. I
oh,
played those. I played a bunch of other songs too.
oh. Well, I'm sure you made all the children's day. And keep doing what you're doing, and you're living the dream. This is the time of your life, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And I encourage everyone listening to download Rick Zachary's new hit single, Small Town Saturday Night. And we really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And Rick, as I always say, that's a wrap.
Bye, everybody.